If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, please share, and I hope you come back for more. Thank you so much. Hope you have a good day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.
One eternity later.
Hello, welcome to my channel. Today's video is going to be a 2024 review of my favorite makeup products and putting on this base and getting this hair together, of course. It is just Kimberly. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned. Let's get started with the makeup favorites. So do my makeup with me and we'll kind of chat along the way. All right, so first things first, always moisturize. I've already moisturized, and I'm going to start with I've been re-loving this all over again this year, the Vitamin Base by Bobbi Brown. And a little bit goes a long way. This is good. Sometimes I actually use this just, and I have a mirror here, by the way, use this just as a moisturizer if I'm traveling and I want to kind of reduce my possible takeaways in TSA. What I'll do is sometimes I'll use this just as a moisturizer because it is so thick and really hydrating for my skin that's already dry. So kind of rub that in down the chin. All right, and then next I've been loving priming with the e.l.f. Pro Grip Primer, the supposed milk dupe, the one with the niacinamide. I've noticed a lot of companies now are starting to add niacinamide into their products. I didn't really notice them adding it before Fenty started, so that's good to see because I can always use a little bit of help with my hyperpigmentation. The daytime, if I am going out in the sun and it's not like a nighttime makeup wear, I'll always apply some type of glowy, dewy sunscreen. So I've been loving the Super Glow Screen. I've been getting these in my Sephora rewards points. So I love that during the day. If not, I'll use some type of bronzing drops, whether it's the Drunk Elephant ones. The e.l.f. has a really good one. This is the shade Pure Gold. There's a copper gold one also, but I think that's a bit darker, and I use that one more for the summertime. There's a couple like dupes on Amazon, Shein, all that stuff. So any type of bronzing drop, but I usually tend to use this just to really kind of even out my skin, kind of give it a little bit more cohesiveness. So to speak. So you'll probably be able to tell in just a second, it's going to allow my face to kind of look a bit more even toned without making it too dark. Alrighty, and then next we're going to go in with our concealer. Holy Grail, all-time love, this Kulfi. Focusing, there we go. The Kulfi concealer in the shade Khoya Kisses. This is probably my 5th or 6th one this year. So what I'll tend to do now is go ahead and put my concealer on and place that and then work on my eyebrows. That way that'll give time for my concealer to dry down just a bit before we kind of blend it in. So concealer, and I'm just going to dot it all over also the other areas of my face that need concealing. And gonna look a little bit different, but just know it's all going to come together. So then with the remnants on the wand, then that's when I tend to kind of dot over through those spots with the hyperpigmentation, so that I can blend that out, and then of course put foundation over it. A little bit here, definitely the corners of my mouth are a bit color. I'll put a little bit on the tip of my nose just to cancel out some of that redness from all the blowing I'm sure that I've done over the course of the day. Okay. All right, put that on. I've also been loving the Haus Labs concealer in the shade Medium Golden. That really helps cancel out my dark circles from a life well lived. And I just kind of focus it right under here, nowhere really else. And sometimes I'll tend to use the, there it is, Hourglass concealer. I have a couple shades, Flax and Dune. Dune is like a lighter brightening. Flax is a little more closer to that kind of warmy caramel undertone. I just kind of usually sit it down through here. Alrighty, so we'll get that marinating. And then also what we'll do is we'll start on our brows. Any brow pencil will do, but I have recently found my stash of the Huda Beauty microblade. This is the shade medium brown. I sometimes use the number 6. I think it's dark brown, but that one sometimes for me tends to feel a bit too dark, and so my eyebrows take up the entire frame of my face and really kind of diminish everything else. So I try to work in between, but I have a trick for that sometimes. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll just brush them up a bit, not necessarily a necessity. I try not to have them too dark. I don't really like my eyebrows super structured because on my face, like I said, my eyebrows tend to sometimes take over and look a bit bold. And so I really try to make sure I'm not letting that be the mainstay of my face. So just kind of comb it through a little bit and then just kind of flick it and brush it up. And try not to get them too close together. And just really focus on the bottom portion of it. And then kind of getting that edge symmetric, but not precise. All right, so I'm gonna jump off camera, finish these brows, and then come right back. Okay, eyebrows on to the best of my ability. Next up, I've been loving the NYX The Brow Glue in the shade medium brown. The clear works well also, but I find that sometimes if the clear doesn't have enough color in it from you swiping it and your brows already being done, what I tend to find is that it sometimes grabs my brows and leaves a white cast and it looks like I have glue in them, which obviously of course it is. But I feel like the brown just kind of mutes out some of that color, takes it down a notch so it doesn't look so crazy, but also still setting them so they don't move around your face. So got that swiped on. All right, and hopefully at this point the concealer has made its way to marry into your skin. Next, just only for my nose to contour, I've been using the e.l.f. Halo Glow. e.l.f. Halo Glow contour in the shade medium tan. And this I just quite simply swipe up my nose. Get that sharp line across the middle. Swipe up here. And then go over, and then do a triangle at the tip, and just leave it as such. So definitely gonna look a little off for a minute, but it's gonna get better. And then I'll go in with a little bit of, is it Flax? No, I think it's actually Dune. The shade Dune. A little goes a long way. I promise you, don't even use more than a dot. Otherwise, friend, you're gonna spend all day blending out, and we're trying to get this makeup done very quickly. Alrighty, so then the next step is I'll use my e.l.f. Dewy Power Setting Spray, and that is the Milk Dupe. So I'll tend to use both, but I'll use this. I always do a quick test spray on it, spray it on my brush. And then I'll just use that to kind of start working out my concealer, kind of starting from the bottom, the way you don't pull it all the way from under your eye and then end up dragging it down your face. So this is what I'll kind of tend to do here. And you're always going to look worse before you look better, so stick with it. Stick with it, my boy. And then I kind of carve it up here over my lid, and kind of I'll use that as a lid base for my eyeshadow later. And then same thing, just keep blending it down and around. There shouldn't be a whole lot on your lid. Pulling it down, then also kind of tapping out over my face, tapping it down, getting the corners down here, getting those spots that I tried to cover earlier. We will still cover those with concealer, but you see how the side of my face is already starting to look kind of blended out. Get between my brows, get that spot on my forehead, get that kind of worked in. I'll go ahead and work on that little bitty dot on the tip of my nose. Okay, then get that small spot on the bridge. But really just kind of leaving it. All right, we'll spray again. And then get the chin, get this corner. And I do this generally just to get me a nice solid base so that if my foundation does start to wear throughout the day or the night, then at least I know I have an extra layer underneath that's going to kind of keep the problem children locked up. Oh, also, before you start your makeup, I've been generally moisturizing. The only thing that I found that keeps my lips nice and hydrated is those Dior lip oil dupes. Amazon, Shein, wherever. All the places that are the places to get things. I've been loving those a lot lately. And like I said, I wear them mostly at night. So I wake up in the morning, my lips hydrated. And that seems to be the only thing that I can actually find recently that's helping to do that. So keep blending, blend over our eyes, blend. Pick it out. Then we're going to blend in these areas also over here that we concealed. Blend. Oh, and I didn't mention, this is the BK Angie Hot and Flashy in A506. I used to use a beauty blender, but sometimes I feel this is a little bit easier for me. I get a little bit better coverage. And because you'll see in a minute, I'll go over it so many times that there's no real harsh lines or anything like that you have to worry about if you kind of keep working over it. So you see me working back and forth. I'll keep working over it. Next, while that's sitting on our face, we're going to work on our foundation. So I think I mentioned the other day in a car rent, I've been using the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk foundation in the shade number 6. And then also another day I mentioned I've been using the Lancome Tint Idole. This is the OG one because I have 1,000 in my stash in the shade 460 Suede W. So I think since this is a repeat video from yesterday when I thought I recorded it in a different lighting mode, and it didn't come out so great. So we're refilming this, so this should be a better tutorial than yesterday's tutorial. All right, so we're going to put a dot at each one of those and kind of mix it together. And then what I'm going to do is just kind of stipple it on my face with the brush and try to avoid going past here and pulling off that concealer that we worked so hard to put on our face. So, and then of course, obviously going down the side, trying to avoid the earrings. I typically put those on last, but I didn't want to look bowl-headed with them not on. Same thing, stippling on, starting at the bottom. That way I don't overplace it underneath my eye. But this is where I need most of the coverage because I'll tend to do this or this when I'm out or when I'm talking, when I'm sitting. And so I just want to make sure I don't overdo it on the face. All right, and then get up here on the sides, at the temple. All right, go ahead and stipple it in that forehead area, getting in the middle. Whoop. And going all over. Got my edges tied down, honey. I had lost them for a while, trying to be cute, trying to get my edges together, knowing good and well I didn't have no business doing that because I was going to end up ripping them right out, and I did. So they are on their comeback journey. So if they're not laying flat, just look away because I already tore them up one time. I'm not trying to tear them up again. Alrighty. I think we've just about gotten all of our foundation stippled on. Alright. And maybe a little bit more for the forehead. I'll use the Tint Idol one just by itself to really get that stippled on. And then if we need to, what we'll do is we'll probably add a little bit of concealer. House Labs here to bring a little brightness into the middle of that forehead. Well, the good thing is we are lit up today. We were lit up in our previous recording. And thankfully we're still lit up today. Alrighty. So now we got a good bit of coverage on our forehead. So we should be better for the wear. So our skin's looking nice and even. So making sure we pull it down. And I'm always up until I set it because I tend to wait for everything to get nice and meshed. So I'll continue to do this several times throughout my makeup process just to really make sure I'm taking away the excess. Sometimes for me, if it's creasing, that means there may be a bit too much, and so we want to get rid of that. All right, then on to this glow bronzer in the shade Tan. I've had this for a while, didn't use it, and all this year have just been kind of stepping away and coming back. But when I tell you, I've hit pan, I've been loving it. I've also been loving my BK Beauty brush, number 101 that I got last year in their Black Friday haul, a Black Friday day sale. So just kind of tap that in, take it up here, up on my forehead, kind of half the forehead, and really just making sure. So see how it's giving my face dimension now. And if you go a little bit too far here, no worries. We'll kind of keep blending it in and we'll take that down with some powder. And then we'll hit the jawline, chisel that bad boy up a bit. Alright, same thing on this side. Tap it in there. Start at the back, then kind of move it down. Then kind of take it around the edge of your forehead line, and just kind of make that a little more sun-kissed. No pun intended. And we'll get the jawline down here. And like I said, anything that's overdone, no worries, because right now we look crazy. We'll take that down with our foundation brush. We can take that down. Simply just kind of take that away a bit if we did too much, which we sometimes tend to, and that's okay. It's just makeup. Alrighty, then I'm going to use this little eye blender brush, nothing fancy. And then now we're going to take care of this nose contour and work that in. Working in. Working in. So this is going to have us help us give some definition. Blend down the sides. Blend. Same thing on this side. Blend. I did this so much I can probably do it with my eyes closed. Blend. Anything that once again looks like it's doing too much, you can always just erase it with your foundation or your concealer. Same thing here. All right, I'm going to put my little dot of Dune back in the middle. So here and here. That's probably way too much. I already know it's going to act a fool. Let me dab some of that away, because this stuff is strong. See, look at that. I mean, we all over the map, but we can fix it. No problem. I just wanted to bring some lightness back into the middle. All right, so we'll get back out here on this nose contour and fix it. And kind of bring our nose back to our face. I don't want it to stand out too much, but I just want my nose to not kind of fall into the background. So see, now I have some dimensions on the side, but I haven't done a bit too much to it. So we're still, once again, I'm just going to keep that side nice and tight. Okay, perfect. And then let's see. So we got our chin. Get our little chins together. Alrighty. And then kind of take that down a bit right through here. We can always bring it back with the powder, but at least that way we don't start out too hot and fast. Okay, so far we're looking nice and beautifully blended. Keeping the center here a little light, and so we can bring that back later. Also, time to blend again over our lids. And we've probably come to the point where we're going to go ahead and set our under eye. So I'm going to go ahead I've been doing a combo of Huda Beauty banana bread and the Patrick Star One Size, and then mixing the two kind of in the top of the One Size. In top of the One Size, and really using that, of course, with your standard powder puff. So what I'll do is kind of tap it out under the one eye and kind of set that side of the face with the powder, and then move to the other side. And tap off the excess powder on my hand. That way it's nice and even on the puff. And then just kind of working underneath and through. And then a little bit left over my lid, not making it cakey. Going down on the side of my nose. In the middle with whatever's left over. Not too much. Not too much, just a little. And then kind of getting whatever I tapped off, adding that back on. And then we're going to give a swipe here to kind of get our jawline together. Underneath. Perfect. And we'll swipe all that away later. Get a little bit left on my hand. And do that down the middle. Not too much. Okay. And then working on this side. Y'all, I have wrinkles under my eye, at the corners of my eye. I have dark circles. I have bags. I have the wounds of a long life lived. And so therefore, I'm not unrealistic in thinking that my under eye is going to crease or look creased. And that's just the kind of life that I live. So, yeah. Alrighty, and then whatever's left over on the top. Then go over this brow a bit. Get that little hot spot right there so that nothing looks too shiny. And then once again, tapping that in the powder mix on the back of your hand. And I do it on the back of my hand so you don't get any hot spots, what I call hot spots. So you see how now it's kind of like nice and even. If you don't tap it off and you just put it on your puff and then go through, it's going to look like that. And then you're going to have some spots on your makeup that are going to be lots of powder and then no powder, and we don't want that. Alrighty, let's see. And then let's see, and get busy doing everything else. Get that. All right, and then powder here. And get this extra powder off. Whatever powder I have left over, what I will tend to do is just go over the top part of my, not to give it color, that side is a little bit too much, over the top of my bronzer, my cream bronzer, just so that whenever I put the powder on, it doesn't give too much of a grab. Right, so we're just tapping that in. So now we see how we still have our nose contour there, and everywhere else still looks good. Alrighty. So then the next step for that is going to be, we're going to do our contour, well, bronzer / contour. And I've been loving the Black owned beauty brand LYS. This is their No Limits matte bronzer in the shade Courage Tan. I think this is my 3rd or 4th one for the year. Tap that off a bit, starting up high. That way you don't have all the color down here, and then kind of working it in. And see how that just kind of gives our face some flavor. All right, same thing on the other side. Tap it off a bit, working it up high. Yay, okay, that looks good. I don't use this particular brush to do this step. I just use whatever's left over on here and kind of work it down the side of my nose. Same thing over here. So I know sometimes I tend to get messed up, but that's okay. That's one thing you can do. You can always fix it. And I'll kind of set that on over my eye, whatever's left on the brush, and kind of float around the top, but mainly just to make sure you have some color focus in your face. I do love this bronzer, but I also do love the Fenty Beauty. The Fenty Beauty bronzer in the Sun Stalk'r in the shade Caramel Cutie. Once again, this is an overbuy, but that's okay. And the shade is just, it's a little more neutral brown, I think I'd say that's what it's called. And I just kind of sometimes put that right here on the kind of flushes of my cheek, almost acting as a blush, but not really. All right, then let's get this chin and stuff set. I have a milk mustache. All right. Alrighty, and then next we'll powder our face down with the Makeup Forever Matte Velvet Skin in the color Y445. This year for me has been a year I've bought a lot of new stuff that I didn't really have to have, and been finding old stuff in my collection that I actually bought that I liked and just moved on to the next trend and forgot about. So these are those powders. I've been traveling with them a lot, and so they've gotten broken. So a hack I've been using is using the powder puff, using the sponge, the puff sponge that comes in here, and sitting it on top of it, and really using that to kind of keep it from most of it flying all over the place. Now, of course, you know it's going to, so let's not be unrealistic. Alrighty, so tap that off, and then what I've been doing is just kind of blending that in, and see how now it's not so harsh. And you just need a swipe. You don't even need much. One, because most of it ends up picking up the small crumblies and falls all over the place. And two, because you just don't. And then I just kind of tap it here to make sure I don't have any harsh lines with my concealer. I mean, with where my contour is and bronzer. And just wipe it over my nose to make sure all that stuff. So see how I still have a little bit of contour, but it's not super harsh. That is that. And then if somewhere looks like it's doing too much, then you can always tap it out. All right, here. All right, I guess next up we'll move on is to shadow. I think I talked about the other day, Colored Rain, the Neutral Chic palette, and mostly just using these shades. Also, another good one is Auntie Pat didn't seen better days. The Pat McGrath little small travel in the mini eyeshadow Sublime Smoke. I've been loving the Extreme Dusk and the Extreme Mahogany for the corner, and then I've been using the Taboo. I've been using Taboo in the crease, Extreme Dusk and Extreme Mahogany in the corner. And if I feel real jazzy, I've been using the kind of metallic golds in the center of the lid. And I've only been using 2 brushes, a fluffy brush and a brush for the corner. So I'll go into the Colored Rain palette on the shade Satin, starting at the outer edge, and then just kind of working that in. And this has kind of been my not video vixen, because that's not a good word to say, not a good way to describe it, like my version of like Victoria's Secret's very soft glam makeup, where it's not overpowering, but it definitely gives a statement, accents your eyes, but you don't have to do a whole lot. And especially if you don't want to spend a bunch of time doing it. I used to do the cut creases and all that stuff, and I don't have that kind of time anymore. I don't have that kind of patience. anymore. And you can kind of get the same or similar kind of effect by doing, you know, something subtle like this if you are short on time. So that just kind of warms up our eyes. Warms up our eyes. And then I'll use the Pat McGrath, so something people can get their hands on. I think they still make this. Once again, this is one of those ones I've had for some time. All right, and I'm going in the Dusk, Extreme Dusk, and Extreme Mahogany, tapping on the corner of the brush, and then I'm just gonna really just kind of smoke out that outer edge. And there we are. So we just kind of darkened it a bit. Bring a little more emphasis to the outside corner of the eye without having to do like a smoky eye, or definitely like a wing. So once again, tapping in those two. Tap off the excess. The same thing, just getting a little bit of... I don't look in the mirror that way. I'll stay in the center and not keep looking away. All right, let's see. Almost. Try to get them as even can be. And it should be just about there. And then sometimes if you don't have an extra brush, what I'll do is I'll just squeeze it. Go in that Extreme Dusk color, squeeze it, and run it underneath my eye. Give just a little underneath. Same thing, squeeze it. Because we're trying to cut down on our makeup. I always overpack my makeup. Always overpack my makeup when I travel. And I dread going through TSA. Not so much here at my home airport, or at certain airports I travel to frequently, but there are some airports, London Heathrow, where they will see your bag and go through it with a fine-tooth comb. I got held up at TSA in London Heathrow, and anytime if I fly internationally, I'm lucky enough to fly internationally, I try to avoid that airport like the plague, or at least leaving out of that, you know, coming into that airport as you're having to check your bags, check through TSA. I spent 35 minutes going through my makeup bag to the point where I was taking tops off of things just to get them to fit inside the bag. I mean, shout out to the TSA agent who was patient enough not to make me throw everything away. But man, I'm telling you, it was a tough day. Missed any chance at sitting and enjoying, going and shopping duty free. I didn't do any of that. Nope. Your girl was standing up there sweating bullets trying to figure out how I was going to get my 18 concealers to fit in that little bitty quart bag. So note to self, try to take as least amount of makeup as possible, or check it in your bag, because there are some airports that are stricter than others, domestic and foreign, that will leave you saddened and having to throw away your items. I've seen people throw away, full-sized deodorants, and I'm like, girl, check it in the bag first. I guess she just said, forget it. She didn't even want to try it. And I was like, man, I'm gonna make sure I can fit everything I can. All right, blush. The Maybelline Fit Me in the shade Peach. Any type of peachy tone, truthfully, blush I've been enjoying. Just kind of put that on the top. Give us a little bit of pinkness, pinky peachiness to it. Sometimes I'll just leave the blush part out and then just go directly over my face with highlighter. And so the highlighter, I have been using the Kevyn Aucoin Opulent Finishing Powder in the shade Luster. The shade Luster. Can you see it? There it is, the shade Luster. And then also the Gwen Stefani Check My Glow. Any type of flat brush will do for this, but mostly something with a little bit of gold tone to it, nothing too cool or bright because it is wintertime and I do want to have a little bit of color. So that's just how nice that looks. Mix those two sometimes. Works best. All right, here, and then on the tip of the nose, I still do that. And then what I'll do is then I'll take it down a bit. Put some of the color back on it. Uh-oh. A bit. Something happened here. Okay. Okay, we're doing all right. Looking good. And then once again, take it down with the powder. And then we can add back some of the blush. So just having a little bit of a sheen, not too much. Just a little bit, just a little bit. Okay. And then let's see, the lights are bright. Let's look in the mirror. Let's see what we're missing. Maybe add back a little bit of bronzer that we might have lost along the way. And all of the pat downs that we were doing consistently. And if I'm being honest, adding back the color, you really want the LYS to give you that color back. The Fenty one is good, but it doesn't add that oomph back. Alrighty. Now we're good. So we shouldn't have too much of a demarcation. If it looks like the shades are off, what we'll do is then we'll erase that with the powder. We'll erase that with the setting spray. The setting spray will erase that kind of hollowed out look we got going on and give us our color back. So here we are. Okay, we're looking good. Let's go ahead and set our face. And then we'll see where we're at, and then we'll work on the eyes. So, let's set our face. I typically cover my eyes for certain parts of the setting spray. So here, I feel like now my hair takes precedence. I don't want it to get wet. So using the Makeup Forever. I'm sorry, using the e.l.f. Then I'll go in with the Charlotte Tilbury immediately. I'll cover my eyes for this one. And I typically do a spray out first because there's nothing worse than spraying it and then that mist hitting you dead in the center of your face and you're not ready for it. So while we're waiting for that to dry down, we'll go ahead and use our eyelash primer. I have been using the lash extensions that you can put on yourself, but I have found I have been sometimes impatient with taking them off, and what I've done is lost most, if not all, of my lashes. So I'm taking a break. It's been about 4 weeks or so, but I always come back to the tried and true Lancome Sills Booster XL eyelash primer and put that on. Top and bottoms is what I do. Alrighty, got our primer on. While that's drying, we'll work on our lips. And then we'll come back and finish our mascara, spray ourselves down, and we'll be done. So I'm using the Charlotte Tilbury lip pencil. And I'm gonna have this. She been through it. In the shade Foxy Brown. Where's my mirror? Here we are. We'll use the small one. And I'm gonna just line my lip. And then kind of fill in also on the corners. Right here. I think since the wintertime, my lips have been way more red than they usually are. Anyhow, and then I'm going to use the MAC lip gloss lipstick, the MAC lipstick in the shade Sis. gonna blend it in so that the lip liner and the lipstick aren't competing, but are in an arrangement. Use my finger and kind of blend it in. It's on the table and now it's gone. Here it is, back again. There. What the heck's going on my lips? There we are. Alright, so keep. Okay, and then in the middle we can use the Nude Glow, and this is the Moisture Glow Pumping Lip Serum. I think yesterday I called it the Glow Stick, so maybe there is some value in having to do something twice. So that combination I like a lot. If you need to fix in a color anywhere, then you can. Okay, so there we are. Okay, and then let's see. Alrighty, we're back now. We can probably get to the mascara. The Maybelline Lash Sensational in Firework. This, I believe, is the, I want to say it's black. I'm sure it's black. It's black. It's black. We'll say black. Black. All right, I'm going to go ahead and do my mascara. There we go, lips. And one of my eyelashes, each set of eyelashes each time always looks better than the other one. I do my mascara looking down. If I do it looking out, then what I'll tend to do is get it on my face. So looking down at an angle is generally how I do it. And then sometimes that's when you also can see where your eyeshadow is creasing. And you can fix that. Somehow I got in the hair. There's not a fiber on there. This is a really good like day 2 use out of the package mascara. Day 1, it's a bit too unrefined, and so sometimes it can tend to clump your lashes together if you don't take your time. So I would say this is a really great mascara. I love it, but look at the difference in my eyes. But day 2 out of the pack, so a brand new one, the second day tends to be the best for it. It's not my favorite for the lower lashes, but it gets the job done. The e.l.f. Lash Roll, which I think is the dupe for the, I think Benefit. I'll put it on the screen if that's different. But look at the difference. It opens up your eye, and the color payoff for it is so nice. Be careful with this mascara because you can end up forcing it into your nose and then having to wait what sometimes seems like an extremely long time for it to dry. So you can wipe it off without it smudging everywhere. So just, I would say, err on the side of caution. Take your time when doing it. I would advise against doing it in the car unless you are a true professional. Otherwise, it will end up on your nose or on your face somewhere. When I do back comb my lashes, I do back comb them here. Okay, we've got our eyelashes on, and I think they're as good as they're gonna get. Let's see. All right, last and final step before we jump to the hair. Everybody's talking about it. You know it. You love it. The One Size On Till Dark. I do not spray this on my eyes. I've already done 2 other setting sprays. So the e.l.f. one, aka Milk Dupe, the Charlotte Tilbury, and then I'll go in with this. I will not spray it, like I said, on my eyes. So, and whatever you do, please hold your breath. Okay. And we'll just kind of spray top, bottom, and then on the sides, just to make sure that this stuff here stays. But once again, it will make your eyelashes stick together, so don't spray your eyes. Okay. All right, I think we're at a good stopping point for the face. We are good to go. So I think what we'll do is we'll take down the hair and come right back. Alrighty, and then taking out my clips I got the other day from Amazon. If you're impatient, don't use these to clip your hair up. I don't know if they still sell these. The scrunchy brand ones are the ones I used for the top part of my hair to kind of hold it together a little bit better. And then, see what I mean by just pinning it up. So find a good curling iron that works to curl your hair, and then also some good clips that won't pull it out and leave you bald headed in pieces, because that defeats the purpose. We want to curl hair. We don't want to lose. Gotta get that piece in the front, that muddy piece in the front, just right. My hair needs to be washed soon, so all my little flyaways can just get tucked down with its natural scalp oils. Let's see. Here we are. That looks good. Alrighty. And we're all done. So here is the final look of my 2024 makeup favorites. I think it came out so good. Looks so nice. We're ready for anything. We're ready for holiday parties. We're ready for date night, ready for girls' day brunch, you name it, we're ready for it with this makeup. So I hope you have enjoyed today's video of our 2024 makeup favorite, and come back for more. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk to you later. Bye. Hi. Hi. All right, and then we'll leave that. So then we'll go to our next step, which is going to be